Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I am Sonya of Sonya G Coaching and Let the Lady Speak podcast, where we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. You guys know I am an advocate for safe and healthy dating. And today we have Officer Lorenzo here, and he is going to give us some safety tips. Officer Lorenzo has over 35 years experience in law enforcement, varying from narcotics to trafficking. And I can't wait to have this conversation. I appreciate you so much, Officer Lorenzo. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. This is a good format for people to learn something, certain things that are really needed these days.
Yes, it is. Hi, Cassie. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate you. Okay. I want you to please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Prior law enforcement, 35 years. I am retired at this time. During that time, I specialize in things like human trafficking, prostitution, narcotics, all sorts of crimes and things that would go to this format here for safety for people like that. I worked in Washington, D.C., and glad to be here on this format. We could, spread some knowledge to some people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for offering to come back. He's already said he'll come back, guys. I'm excited about that.
Yes.
So I promote safe and healthy dating. And I feel like a lot of us didn't have guidance from our male counterparts growing up. Not everyone had that dad that was present or that would offer certain safety tips for us. But you have the added experience of law enforcement, and something that we talked about behind the scenes and in one of my lives you left in the comments is how social media is not the safest place. And so I just want to talk about how can our ladies be more safe and just navigating the social media atmosphere environment.
Yeah, that's true. There's so many formats that you can use safety. The first one I see, that we're going to talk about is in social media. Mm-hmm. I have a platform that I'm doing also with my partner, as you see on here, Casey at Night. As Casey, we have our own things that we'll be doing, seminars and eventually websites on safety tips for mm-hmm. people in different,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be putting that out. Keep up on that. Mm-hmm. Everyone's into social media now. So they're posting photos and doing things like that to, for dating sites and all that. And there's so many things that you put out there that would give your information for people to track you down, stalkers. And you have to remember that someone's sitting on a computer 24 hours a day, just trying to find some information on you or possibly to do some harm. Mm-hmm. So never put anything past them. One of the examples we want to talk about is photos that you may post.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with photos that you take in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. You'll see many people take a photo, selfie or whatever and have the refrigerator behind them. Mm-hmm. On this refrigerator is basically your whole life, where someone can zoom in and key in on certain things. You may have a calendar posted. Mm-hmm. The calendar will have certain dates and times, phone numbers, doctor's appointments, things like that they can track you down in, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You'll have stickers, magnets with the school of your children. Mm-hmm. So now someone knows what school your children go to, what activities you may do, when you won't be at home. You'll have pictures of family, mm-hmm. pictures of your dog, ways of identifying you. All on your refrigerator, all the stickies of everything that you have to do. You may even have a piece of paper right in the middle, if you have kids, that you'll post your alarm code on that piece of paper, so that your kids can, they won't remember, but you'll have that and it'll be in the picture frame. Mm-hmm. Your doctor's name, everyone puts their doctor's name in their appointments that they have coming up. So you have to be very cautious of what your filming in the picture. And we're not saying don't take pictures, but use another part of your house, something that doesn't identify your life and what you're doing, because there are people that are watching. You can never take it for granted, and that not everyone has good intentions like that at all.
And what about, sometimes on social media, people will put their location on their phone, like, or on their picture, things like
Mhm.
that, or where they are. So say they're on vacation and they'll post, I'm on vacation. This is my hotel, things like that. Um,
Yes.
it
There's
makes
two problems with that.
okay.
When you put down your location where you're at, someone can track where you're at exactly at that time.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you put where you're at, people will see, okay, you're at the airport now.
Hmm.
You're landing in Jamaica.
Hmm.
That means you're not home. And you already told me where you lived at.
Hmm.
So now I can go to your house and do whatever I want to do because I know where you're going to be at. So either way, you don't want someone be able to identify your exact location. A lot of times, post the fun times you had when you finished, then you're not there. Because believe it or not, someone will track you down. They will go to where you're at very quickly.
Hmm.
So that's two of the precautions with what you're talking about at this time.
Okay, so what should they do as far as what should we do as far as our phones to prevent tracking and things like that?
If
Besides
you,
not sharing. Go
yeah,
ahead.
don't share your location where you are at this particular time, especially if you're not with a group of people or in a safe situation. Just don't do it. You could just post after you walked away from that location if you can. You don't have to tell the world where you're going. I'm here. Take a picture of where I'm at. Show this. People take pictures on the elevator. They walk to their hotel room. The hotel, the room number, where they're staying.
Hmm.
There's just too much information out there, and there's too many people that don't want to do you good in this world today.
That is true. Are there any other safety precautions as far as technology goes? Like I know there's a lot of VPN. I always tell people to get like a VPN, or is there anything like that they should get for cyber tracking?
Anywhere that there's some firewall or something that will stop, because I know there's a lot of systems out there that can prevent people from getting into your system. Anything that you can find like that would be fine. But
Hmm.
there's nothing better than just turning that phone off.
Okay.
That's the best thing. And have a good time. I mean, we used to have good times without a phone.
We sure
Believe it
did.
or not,
Yes, we did.
yeah, I mean, it was amazing how we did that. But I don't know.
We had a
No.
pager. You had a camera, a portable camera.
Yeah.
You
So I
want to
mean,
get your pictures
yeah,
developed?
you can have a good time. And like we're saying, just take some precautions, but you don't have to stop having fun. You could do just as much, but be cautious on what you do and what you show.
Okay. Will do. All right. First, I want to thank you. Thank you, Miss C, for stopping by. Also, thank you to Monique King. You guys are welcome for this information. If you have any questions for Officer Lorenzo, please put them in the chat below. Okay. So, speaking of traveling,
Mhm.
I love to travel, and I have some other ladies that I know are huge solo travelers. I have my own way of traveling. For one, I don't only tell certain people where I'm going, and I put my tracking and everything on for my family. So I don't know if that's a problem, just so they can see me. Usually, the company that I go through, they have an app that they'll use to track us as well. So we have an emergency contact in the country that we're in. What safety tips would you give for solo travelers, women who travel solo?
Yeah, you want to have a buddy system if you do. Let somebody know when you're leaving, where you're leaving from. Have somebody that you can contact when you do arrive somewhere.
Okay.
If you're meeting someone, take pictures. Take pictures of the person that you're meeting or where, who you're around. But if you're going to be by yourself, let somebody know. Let somebody know when you arrive back. You know, it's a very simple thing to make a phone call and say, hey, I'm here safely. I landed here. Doesn't take much. But get to know people where you're going, staff where you're at, because staff will look out for you.
Yeah.
If you're in a hotel, yeah, just go up to the front counter. Hey, this is, you know, I'm here, such and such. How are you doing? That person's always going to remember you, and they're always going to look out for you. If you meet somebody where you're going, walk around that same staff member with the person. You know, people that have bad intentions don't want people to see them. They don't want to be known. You know, if you walk around bars, always walk around the cash register. There's always a camera pointed at the cash register. So they're going to be on camera somewhere. Front desk of hotels have a camera, you know, so talk to people and, you know, be the life of the party. That means wherever they are, people are going to be watching all the time.
That's true.
You really won't be alone.
That is true, ladies. Be social butterflies, but don't tell everything. So I don't tell everyone that I'm there solo. There's certain people, like I said, the company that I go through, they have a contact person. So they'll know I have that person. So they know that I'm at the hotel. And if I have any issues, I'm going to contact them. And like you said, so I went for my first out of country solo trip in Mexico a couple years ago. And one of the things that I did was I sat in the same area. The servers knew me. Everyone knew. Same when I went to Jamaica. So people, they knew what I ate. They knew what I drank. And I tried to socialize with people, but I just didn't give up a lot of information. But I made it so that people can say, okay, yeah, we've seen her. We know she was here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's good. But sometimes even so, if you have to, you tell them you're here with somebody, you know, they just don't feel like coming down right now, whatever the case like that. If you have to say that, it gives the appearance that someone else may be with you, you know.
Okay. Or that you're on a group trip or something.
Something. Like yeah. You do what you have to do. You know, your safety comes first.
Absolutely. Safety first. So I love that. Make sure you walk around the bar, look up at the camera so that they can see you, be friendly with the staff so that they remember you and they'll help you and keep an eye out for you. And have fun, ladies. We don't want, that's one thing I know a lot of people are afraid to travel. We watch a lot of TV, and I told you what I love to watch. I love all the forensic files, all of the cop movies, all of it. I love serial kill, forensic psychology, all of it. I'm here for it. But I do know that it can make you paranoid, and you don't want to live your life in a cage. You want to live your life and have fun. You just want to be very cautious with doing it. So I appreciate your tips. Hi, love. Thank you. Okay, so on the spotlight, welcome. If you have any questions, please add them in the chat below. Okay, another tip is because trafficking is such a huge issue right now, where they're using different methods, and I understand now too that they consider prostitution trafficking now, whereas before they weren't in the same category. Am I right or wrong on that?
They kind of put in, but that's a different form. That's trafficking and using sex in a way. So in a way, it's trafficking because you're made to do something against your will. So that's true. You could be trafficked in your own house as a spouse, also. So remember that. Now, if you're home and you're made to do something, it could be forced labor. It could be if you don't dress a certain way, I'm not going to do this for you. If you don't have sex a certain way, I'm going to not do that. Or I need you to go out and recruit another girl for us or another guy for us or something like this. And because you didn't do something, you're going to be punished in certain ways. Then it gets to physical abuse, which can fall under, domestic violence also. But never feel like you can't be trafficked in your own home, because there are people that are being trafficked like that.
So let's stick on that for a little bit, because I don't think people really understand that. They always feel like home should be a safe space, aside from people. There's just a picture of it. They think of it as just domestic violence. They don't think about the trafficking component of it. And a lot of times that's how it happens. Are there some signs that we ladies should look out for?
Yes. Yeah, there's some signs. You may find a friend that's maybe extra quiet, self-esteem issues, maybe staying away from everyone. something that was not normal for them may be a sign. Uh, some people are made to dress in a way that, let's just say, it isn't sexy at all, and it's not their style. So there's
Mhm.
some reason that they're doing this. And those are signs to maybe talk to the person, just see what's going on. But it's more common than we know in the home, that people are being forced to do all kind of things against their will, and you would never know. You'd think everything was fine, but it's not. And pay attention to your friends, what they say. A lot of times people say things without really saying it.
Mhm. And when you notice those big changes, I had that happen to me. A person I knew, they actually ended up being part of a religious cult.
Hmm.
And me and this person hung out together all the time. We both had the same interest in girly things because we were high school friends. So shoes and shopping and the mall. That's when the
Yes.
mall was popular, things like that. And then slowly, she told me she was getting saved, which is fine. I grew up in a religious household, so I get it. But I noticed that, like you said, she started dressing from head to toe, like covered from head to toe. She never was a big makeup person, but she wouldn't even wear lip gloss. And just her conversation, her thoughts, everything was so different. You could tell she wasn't speaking for herself anymore. But it was the person that she married. He wouldn't let anyone come to the wedding. Like none of us could attend her wedding, and it I think other people intervened, but she really did shut us off. So, ladies, if you
Hmm.
notice those changes in your friends, please make sure you at least let them know that you're here for them, or give them an emergency number or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, people do show signs.
Hmm.
So pay attention to the signs. Sometimes they're asking for help and they know they can't just say it, but they're going to let you know in all kind of ways. And then some don't even realize what's going on. They
Hmm.
figure the spouse really cares for me. If they didn't, they wouldn't want me to, dress this way,
Hmm.
but it's all a psychological game that's going on.
Speaking of psychological games, because I love that.
Uh, uh,
First, I want to say hi, Auntie's Advice. Auntie's Advice channel. She talks a lot about. She has two
mhm.
channels, and one of her channels she talks a lot about, women's safety as well. So, welcome, my love. Um, some of the common terms. Do I want to say terms? So I understand dark psychology, right? What are some of the little ways that a partner tries to change or manipulate their partner that will lead them down to being trafficked?
They will attack them with their self-esteem.
Mhm,
Um, you're getting fat.
mhm,
If you can get on somebody's appearance, it's a very strong thing for a mental thing.
mhm,
And that'll cause somebody to feel bad about themselves, and to feel better, I must do what the person's requesting. I
mhm,
must do this. I must do more on that. Um, you're stupid.
mhm.
Now you're getting into their intelligence level. I can't do this because he feels I'm stupid. And let's remember, it's not just women. These are men also
Yeah.
that can have that issue like that. So,
Yes,
but a lot of
again.
time, yeah, that's a big one. But physical appearance is a big thing when it comes to attacking somebody mentally. You can really hurt somebody just by the way that you describe how they are. Wish you look like this. Look at that person over there. And that's
Mhm,
one of the ways to start getting control of their emotions. And
mhm.
once you control the mind and emotions, you can have them do anything.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. So you have to manage your own emotions, be self-aware, advocate a lot for self-love, and just having a sense and understanding of self. Because I do know I've seen in my life how once a person strips your sense of self away, or they strip away your sense of self and believing in yourself, and just kind of taking over your whole wide world when they make you their world and vice versa. So a lot of times we think it's cute, like, oh, he loves me so much. They want to spend
Hmm.
all this time with me. They don't want me around. He said I look better if I wear a little less makeup. I don't need it. I should be more natural. Like there's these slow peeling away, and like you said, there's next thing you know you're fat, but then your fat turns into you're fat, but oh baby, I'm just playing, I didn't really mean to say that, or I
Hmm.
was just joking, but then he'll come back and tell you you're fat again, those kind of things. So yeah, ladies, be on the lookout when people are trying to attack your self-esteem. You got to love yourself enough to know who and what you are.
Well,
Not
think of the mind in prostitution, the level of getting a female or male to go out and have sex and feel that you love them more because they give you more money, or if you beat them, it's because you love them or you care more. So he beat me more than he beat the other girl. He
Mhm,
showed me more attention. So now I'm going to go out there and make him more money, and he's going to buy me more things with the money I made.
mhm.
And you feel good about it. That's total mind control to be able to do that. And that's how, progressively they've taken over this person's mind to where they believe that I must perform this act to be a better person in myself.
Yeah,
And, that's
yeah.
bad.
How can we help some of our young ladies and daughters not to fall into that trap? What are
It
because
starts with communication,
mhm,
communication first. As mothers and fathers, step in, start talking, don't hold back. Talk to them about everything. If you talk to them about everything and explain why,
mhm,
a lot of these things they'll see coming, and it won't even phase them. But definitely communication. If you see signs, do something about it. Don't wait around and just no. That's just a phase.
mhm.
It could be, but maybe it's not. And that's your child. You sit down and talk, and if you've already established those lines of communication, you're able to talk about anything with them. But you
Right.
got to get on it right away. They're going after young girls younger and younger. So you don't have time that much time to waste when you're talking about this.
Yeah. Communication is vital, and building that relationship, like you said, where
Hmm.
so a lot of times I didn't really necessarily deal with this so much, but it was because my mother dealt with it. So my grandmother was extremely religious, and so there was a lot of things she just didn't want to talk about. So my mother talked about everything from
Hmm.
drugs, sex, body parts. Like we didn't have nicknames for our parts. She said what it was. She said if someone touched you, this. So I learned to talk a lot, and my uncles used to say you talk too much. But
Hmm.
if something ever happened to me, I always felt comfortable
Yes.
um sharing and saying something
Hmm.
because we had that my mom and I had that kind of relationship. My
Yeah.
grandmother was very quiet about these things. She didn't like to talk about them, but I'll talk, I'll tell. Everybody knew Sonya was telling. I'm gonna tell. So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't
That's
care.
good. That's good. And as long as they don't feel ashamed
Yeah.
of anything, because you know how children could just clam up. They feel like I made you mad or something like that. No, you know.
Okay. Thank you. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Hmm.
Okay. So, next, I want to talk about. So, we were talking about trafficking preventions. How has trafficking methods changed now? What do we need to be more aware of now versus before?
Back in the day before, I guess the social media, they would pop up at bus stations for runaways, things like that. They were snatching kids off the street, people off the street. But now with social media, they're able to get into the minds of these kids and people just from a posting, and they're having people meet them in places. So you got to monitor this social media.
Mhm,
That's becoming a problem. Human trafficking is out of control, especially Mexico, certain states in America. There are
mhm.
so many kids that are missing right now that are working on the streets or in homes right now, and you'll never see them again. And
Oh my gosh.
it's surprising. You'll always see online or in your community somebody's missing, a young boy, a young girl. Look at how many young boys and girls are missing now. And
Mhm.
it's like, where can all these people be? They're taking them off the streets. These kids are meeting them places, and they're out of here. They're in different countries, different states, and they're working, and you may never see them again. And human trafficking is real. You have to accept that it is real and it's going on every day.
That's important to realize that this is not just TV and it doesn't just happen to anyone else. It can happen to anyone. Because
Anyone.
I've noticed like there's starting to be a little more bold as far as who approaches you. Um, I heard this story about a young lady who said someone came to her house with flowers and he like covered his face and
Hmm.
just was like, "Can you just sign these flowers for me?" She lived in a high rise. And thankfully she said no. Um, but
Yeah,
had she opened the door, who knows what would have happened.
that's it. People getting bold.
Do you suggest like the cameras? I know the Ring cameras has helped some people because they've had some people come looking at their door. Do you
Hmm.
suggest getting Ring cameras or any other safety precautions?
Yeah, for your home,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you can get. Ring cameras, your neighbors are a big thing because
Mm-hmm.
that means there's more eyes on everything that goes on at that home.
Mm-hmm.
The cameras, the lighting, if you can get lighting, people that want to do no good don't want to be seen. They don't like noise, they don't like light. Motion lights, timer lights inside,
Mm-hmm.
neighbors. When you're out away or whatever, put your trash up, take your mail in, talk to people. There's always somebody in your neighborhood that watches everything you do anyway.
You're right
So
about
use them, that recruit them. It's like, I want you to watch everything.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the ringer things, everything like that. Put a sign in there. You're on camera now. Anything
Mm-hmm.
that deters normal activity. You have to do that these days.
Okay. Thank you for the tips.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about dating. Let's talk about dating and safety.
Yeah,
Um, what would be your top dating tips to keep ladies and gentlemen, but
yeah.
particularly ladies, safe?
I would get off of those dating sites online. Just forget about that.
Mhm,
That I just say there was a time when you actually had to walk out and talk to somebody face
mhm,
to face.
mhm,
That means you may have to have talked to them several times face to face. You know, um, the dating sites, you don't know who you're talking to. So until they can verify with a fingerprint, the baby pictures, you don't know who you're talking to out there.
mhm,
There's still a world out there. You can meet people all kind of play outings, museums, do something, get a matchmaker that they have to pay, to get into a system like that. But that
mhm.
would be one of my main things. These online is so dangerous right now. Yeah, that's definite.
Thank you. Don't post pictures with your kids. That can you talk about that real briefly? Then we'll go back to dating. I think that's
Mhm.
so important. I
Oh
see so
yeah,
many
and
people do it, and it breaks my heart. I'm like, no, don't do it. It's not safe
yeah,
out here. But go ahead.
that comes with some of the photos we're taking. You see Casey Sharp. That's my partner there. So
Hmm, hmm,
shout out to Casey. Yeah, when you post pictures with your kids, someone's watching. Now they
hmm,
know who your kids are. They know everything
hmm,
about that, and you don't want your kids out there in the circuit, the internet world, basically like that.
hmm, hmm,
They're going to track down your kids. They're going to use something as your kids to get to you,
hmm.
and it just gives them an upper hand on things by already knowing stuff about your kids. Like, oh, I know your kid likes this, your kid likes that, and
Mhm.
that may drop your defenses where you may not see red flags with the person.
Right.
So definitely stop that. I see people, kids in their photos. I see them taking pictures of their home with the address, their car with the tag numbers, or they'll turn and face it the other way. But now you see their neighbor's home with their address, with their car, their little dog that's traceable. Those photos can tell you everything about the person like that. You have to be careful just that on photos.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Auntie's advice said, and you don't know who you're talking to face. So why would face to face be safer than over the internet or on dating sites?
Well, face to face, you can always get a sense of the person, their moods. You can get better reaction.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot, and go with your gut. You get a gut feeling for a reason. It's gotten you that far. If you feel something's not right, it's not right. Online, you can't always get a gut feeling, you know. But
Right.
face to face is better. And you can, after several times talking to somebody, you'll get a better feeling on the person. It's always better than this online stuff.
Yeah. So my uncles used to always tell me to meet face to face because, back in the day, as we talked about earlier, we didn't have our cell phones.
Hmm.
But for them, it was what you said, for, to trust your gut, you'll get a feeling about a person. You can see their mannerisms. And like for me now, being a nurse, I can tell if someone is an addict. Like
Hmm.
I can, those kind of things. I can tell those things, or if they're mentally unstable. But back in the day, my uncles used to say, don't talk on the phone too much. Make him meet you, because we tend to fall in love with words.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
people can create, as we talked about the mind games, people can create a fantasy world. They can create this person in this relationship. Not to say it doesn't happen when you guys are around one another, but your intuition works a little better when
Hmm.
you can read their energy. But that was one of the reasons why I was never allowed to talk too much on the phone. My grandmother used to say, people just lying on the phone. After 2 hours, they're lying.
Yeah. And think about back in the day, the person came and met your parents too. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
that was that was it right there.
Yeah.
You know.
We had a whole thing. You had to leave a copy of your driver's license, taking
Yeah.
pictures. I stopped letting people come meet me. I had an incident. A guy came and picked me up. I was still living at home, but I had my aunt. My aunt lived next door, so I would have them pick me up at my aunt's house versus my house. And because
Mhm.
she had the nosy neighbor that lived upstairs, so we knew she was going to get a good
Yeah.
look at everything. And I went out with this guy, and he wouldn't let me out the car. I'll never forget. He had an old Cadillac. He would
Mhm.
not let me out the car. We got to, and we were at the restaurant that we were going to, and so he wouldn't let me out the car. And luckily, I was always taught to carry a weapon, so I had a weapon with me. And that's what saved me. And then I had the restaurant was somewhere where people who knew my family and knew my people, so I was okay. But that could have been very different. So
Mhm.
I
Definitely.
don't, yeah, we're meeting. I'm getting there early. I hide my tags. I make sure
Mhm.
people know I'm on the date. I don't know this man. Like, hey, I don't know this man. Or I go to one of
Mhm.
my places where I know the bartender or somebody there knows me. But, and again, I don't want people to be paranoid. I just think sometimes we can be a little lax, and it's
Yeah.
about safety.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
COVID locked people up for a couple of years almost, and now they're coming out and taking chances they would have never done before.
Hmm.
So nothing's changed with that.
Yeah. So, because online dating is such a big deal, for those who don't want to come off, do you have any suggestions for them
Just
besides
be
the
more
phone?
be more diligent. Be more diligent. Ask the true questions. Something that's just don't take stuff for granted on that online. You know, do your
Mhm,
research.
mhm.
If something that doesn't feel right, it's not right.
Yeah,
But if, nothing like you say, well, you don't have to stop online, but just be more cautious. Don't take that chance because sometimes that's not worth it.
I agree. I agree. So we talked about home, we talked about safety, we talked about dating. Anything else you want to share with the ladies?
Uh, Another thing with the posting of the photos
Mhm,
for online dating and things like that, you get a lot of photos that people take the selfies in their office. You always
mhm,
get an office photo.
mhm,
And a lot of times I've seen people with their outfit where they work, like in the medical field. You can tell someone that's in the medical field what they wear.
mhm,
So that'll give away where they work. Sometimes the name of the company, you'll see name tags on their garments.
mhm,
You'll see name tags around their neck with the name and the barcode to get into the doors in the building.
mhm,
It'll be around there or on their desk. Names, places, things that they're going to do is all posted around their desk.
mhm,
Valentine's Day, flowers will come in, take a picture of the flower. You'll see the name of the florist, and sometimes their name on the card.
mhm,
So I want to track this person down. I just call the florist and tell them, hey, such and such, I sent a flower to any address. Get
mhm.
mad on the phone. No, sir, we sent it to this address.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I have your address now. I know where you work, your name, all off of a photo that tells everything. Your whole life is in your office.
Mhm.
Sometimes you'll take pictures and other people in your office will be in the background. So just be cautious on these photos that you're taking for online dating as advertisement. You're already giving away a lot of your life before you even talk to the person. That's a major thing is the online photos, online dating is a major problem for developing stalkers or people that may not want to do you any good.
Okay.
That would be high.
Thank you for that. When we talk about the online dating, do you have any stories that you can share? And guys, I'm not trying to scare you, but he's an officer. He did specialize in this area. And I think sometimes we don't really take it that seriously. It doesn't have to be a gory although off the camera, you can tell me because I want to know. No, I'm just
I know you want to know.
I want to know.
No, it's a lot of calls that we would get for people that met somebody
Mhm.
from sexual assaults all the way to robberies. They watch them post things. They post everything in their home. They saw everything they owned, and they came over and they robbed them. They knew everything was. They knew how much it was, the value of it, and everything, just off of online dating. So
Mhm.
I've seen robberies to assaults. A few people that have been murdered from the online stuff. And there's serial guys that it's not just one time. Everyone knows these people. They will post this guy's face or this girl's face, and people will still go for it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a lot that goes wrong. Not all the time, but it can happen. So and that's why we're talking about it.
This is very true. And I appreciate you so much for coming and sharing your experience and your wisdom. Like I said, a lot of us may not have gotten, and some of us have learned the hard way. And even with all the precautions and the safety things that I knew, like I said, if I didn't have a weapon on me, he
Hmm.
wasn't letting me out of that car. And I can see the site just like plain as I can see that dark street because he parked on the side. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go in." He was not gonna let me out that car. He had the child locks on too, or
Yeah.
whatever kind of locks he had on. So I couldn't get out. And that was scary to experience. So
Hmm.
which is another reason why I really, really promote safe dating. And after that, you gotta come pick. I'll meet you there. You can pick me up anywhere.
Yeah, that's definite.
I'm gonna have my own car until I really, really trust you.
And that's a
Um,
good topic you say with the weapons. That's another form of security. Also, you
you
may
have
want
some.
you may want to get a weapon, learn pepper spray or a gun.
Mhm,
Is nothing wrong, and if you're able to possess that in the state that you live in, check your laws. But
mhm,
if you want to get a weapon, get a weapon. Learn how to use that weapon
mhm.
because everyone can hold a weapon. They may not be prepared to use a weapon or use it right, but learn how to use it if you want it. Learn about the pepper spray. Be prepared. You don't have to be a victim ever.
Right.
Get that in your mind. I'm not going to be a victim. It's just not going to happen.
That's
You
right.
know. But yeah, everyone's learning. The gun permits are changing now. So
Mhm.
if you want one, get one. A lot of women feel, well, I can't have a gun. That's a man's thing. Yeah, well, that's not. So if you want a weapon, get a weapon, get trained, and whatever your state says you can do it.
This is true. Miss C said, "I'm afraid for this very reason. I want pepper spray or a stun gun, but they don't allow it in New York." Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, New York is very strict. New York was even strict for law enforcement, what kind of weapon we could carry in New York City, how many rounds, and all. They're just like that in New York. But
Really?
find out what you can carry, and you have to, be guided like that. I'm from New York, so I know it's a tricky city.
What other weapon? Okay, so we have pepper spray, which I took in the airport by mistake one time. Don't do that. I didn't know it was in my coat because I carried it for work. So
Hmm.
we have pepper spray, we have stun guns, we have guns,
And
um,
knives.
we have knives. That's what I was carrying
Hmm.
because I was too young to have a gun, but I did have a knife. Um, it was like it was like a utility, with it had
Mhm.
everything in it. It was one of those, but it was
Yeah.
small.
Mhm.
That's what I used to carry.
Yeah. See, the only thing with that, with utility, you know how hard it is to pull the blade part out of it. You'll get a screwdriver out before you get the blade on that, you know. But I know what you're talking about, like a Swiss knife.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. I used to keep it open in my pocket. I had it open. Let me tell you, I used to carry locks.
Okay.
I grew up during the crack era.
Yeah.
You can get robbed at any time. I had
Hmm.
locks. I used to carry locks in my book bag when we walked to school.
Hmm.
And so if you hit somebody with your book bag, you had your lock hanging off the side. I don't promote violence, y'all, but I do promote safety. And I grew up, once it got bad in our area, it got really bad. Like my granddad started eventually driving me to school, but
Okay. Yeah.
it got bad. Like luckily then community was community. And I remember one time I was walking home from the corner store and a guy was following me. I didn't even know. But my neighbor saw it and she said, "Come on the porch, sign, come here on the porch." And it was a white guy in an all black neighborhood. So he was automatically like, I was opening my
Yeah.
chips, minding my business. I was opening my chips. I was focused. So now again, I've become
Hmm.
way more aware of my surroundings when I'm walking around. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because now we're always on our phones. Always.
Yeah. That means your eyes are never in front of you or behind you. You won't notice anything. In law enforcement, we loved it. If somebody that we were after, because they're not going to see us coming.
Hmm.
We love that. We love the guys with the pants hanging down because they couldn't run, you know. So we
Hmm.
love that. But I've talked to guys that have assaulted females and guys,
Hmm.
and they'll say they're all looking at their phones. So they either run and snatch your phone, or they just rob you. You have to be aware of your surroundings.
Hmm.
That call can wait. You
Yeah.
know, be aware of everything because these people now will walk right in the middle of the street and attack you. They don't care anymore. You know, they know coming out of dark alleys and everything. They'll rob you in front of people now. And
Hmm.
now with social media, everyone wants to have their 15 minutes of fame, so they don't care if you're filming it. So you have to be aware. Just put the phone down for a few minutes, especially if you're in an area by yourself. Don't do it. Or have it on speakerphone and you're talking to somebody because you're telling them, "I'm walking in this parking lot right here.
Hmm.
This is where I'm going right now." This is more of a safety issue. That other phone call, just wait on that for a little bit. People ain't going nowhere.
Okay. That's good to know. Missy said I saw in a video where a young lady got shot at a potential robbery that was also happening, but also happened to be a woman. Oh wow.
Yeah, women are carjacking, shooting. Is nothing with gender anymore. That's not. And women have always done it. There's jails full of women that have killed people. Just
Yeah.
social media portrays the women that they can't harm you the same way that a man can. I know better than that.
That's not true. Listen, if you're from the South, you know better than that because I've seen
Well, growing up in New York, there was so many women gangs out there.
Listen. There's
Yeah.
the women gangs. There's some people with some brute strength. Like
Yeah.
you talking about working healthcare. So yeah,
Hmm.
you'd be
Yeah. So
surprised.
get that out of your mind. The women, and now it's becoming a fad. Carjacking is becoming a fad thing now, and everyone has these new ghost guns with no serial numbers. So they're out here doing stuff to just get their fame on social media. They don't care about the car or you. They just want it to be out there that, hey, I did this. You know,
And that was the other thing I was worried about. I mean, well, another question I wanted to ask. What do you think the change is where people have gotten so bold? You think it's just the social media aspect or
it's the social media aspect. They want people to know, and then somebody wants to top what they did.
Mhm.
Um, and some people that didn't have the guts in their mind to do things like these mass shootings, once somebody does it and they get all this so-called glory on social media, someone else is going to do it. And they're going to try to top that person because they want their name, all the way to even maybe killing themselves at the scene because they want to go out like that. So social media has brought out people that to do things they would have never done before.
Wow. And mental health, the lack of mental health assistance in recent years. I know for here the past 10. we've lost a lot of facilities, and so
Hmm.
people aren't necessarily getting the help that they need or being placed where they should be placed when they do have issues. So and for some people, some recognition is better than none, and some pain is better than not a feeling at all. So
Hmm.
very true. That breaks my heart, though. Makes me say I don't like it, but I understand the world we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other suggestions for the ladies before we get ready to wrap this up?
As I always say, do not accept being a victim. You tell yourself, I will not be a victim. You're going to fight to the end. Take the precautions, go with your gut feeling, use the resources that are there for you, like training, weapons if you want to get. Don't let anyone tell you, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You find out for yourself. You can do whatever you want to do, but your safety comes first.
Yes.
Look at your friends, look at the signs of people that are out there. Some people need help. They're trying to tell you sometimes, and you might think it's not. Talk, ask questions, talk with your kids, communicate.
Hmm.
And like I say, with the seminars that, myself and a partner on Casey Carter are going to be doing, more and more tips will be coming, and we'll keep it updated as more and more information becomes available like that.
Please do. I will share them and have you guys back on.
Hmm.
When you were speaking, there was something I thought about, though. I know you said being on those phone and being distracted is something that a lot of predators look for. What else do they look for, just so we can be cautious?
Well, they're first they're going to see if you look like someone that's paying attention. They're going to watch. If you're walking with your bag on one arm where they can snatch it, they got
Mhm.
you like that. If you don't lock your doors, like all the cars are getting taken at gas stations. You get your
Mhm.
gas, you leave your door open, or you leave the door open where your purse is on the other side, so they'll snatch the purse. Either way,
Mhm.
so they're always watching things. You have to look the part. Like you're out there, you know what you're doing. You look at people. If you're out somewhere, look at people in their eye. A lot of them don't want that because that's
Mhm.
just not in them. But look at people. If you have to stop walking, just look at them.
Mhm.
So they know, yeah, I see, I see. And if you come this way, we're gonna have some issues. I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna be a victim for you. So it's not gonna be an easy night. And some people don't want that. They want that victim that just gives everything like, oh, don't do that out there. But watch where you walk, the time of day you walk. Try to be around people. If you're at a location working or something, there's someone else there, have them walk you to your car. It doesn't hurt to ask. You know,
Mhm.
you should never be walking to your car alone at night unless that's the only way. And if there's a way to get your car closer up before or something, but you see these movies where people are walking at night by themselves in this dark parking lot and all that, that has to be the last resort of all resorts.
Mhm.
Just think safety all the time,
Yes.
and that could save you.
Yes. And ladies, park near the lights. When you go to the grocery store, I'll park near the lights. There's usually a camera there, and there's usually additional light, because sometimes people will go by your car or under your car or near your car. If I see someone fumbling too much, I keep walking like I don't.
Yeah.
If I feel like you're wasting time, like uh, I keep
Hmm.
walking for a
Or
while.
hit your alarm on your fob. Hit the alarm.
Yeah.
Make noise. They don't want noise.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with making noise. You're just a noisy person, but you're safe.
Yeah.
Someone's around your car, hit your alarm. Oh, I wasn't doing anything. Well, that's fine. Have a nice day. But
Hmm.
hit that alarm. If you walk in there, someone's too close, hit the alarm. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's noise, and they do not like noise.
Okay. So draw attention to yourself in a healthy way.
Mhm.
Be
Yeah.
confident.
If you got to yell, yell.
Yeah.
Yell fire. Don't yell help because people won't help you. But yell
Hmm.
fire and everybody's coming.
Can I yell a gun?
You can, but a lot of people now know about guns and they don't want to be a part of it. I'm not getting shot.
That's
You
true.
yell fire, don't nobody like fire. They all coming.
Okay.
Or they're gonna pay attention to you, you know.
Okay. It's a fire then, like fire. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, you'd be
I got you.
surprised.
I appreciate you so much for spending time with us today. Thank you again for sharing your
Yeah,
wisdom and
just
your expertise.
Yeah,
What do you?
anytime for there's so much out there and so many times. I mean, we could talk for days like that, but it's a good format. And I like the opportunity over here to do this. And always available to talk about this for you.
I appreciate that. Well, we'll be back. Ladies, please let me know what topics we should talk about next. And then I will have Mr. Lorenzo back. Are you interested in coming back for a panel as well? I want to do another men's panel.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was trying to get on that last panel that you did. I'll give you a break on that, Sonya.
Okay, next time I got you. My apologies. My apologies. I will make sure you're on the next one. We can talk a little bit about mental health. Okay. What do I say? Oh, that's a great question for Crystal P. You start laughing.
Yeah, I used to, ride those subways before the Guardian Angels started, back in those days. So I know about those subways. If you can get on there with somebody else is on there. It used to be a conductor car back in the day. We always got on where the conductor was. Get somewhere where your back's against the wall. If you feel unsafe, get off like that. I mean, that's all you can do with New York subways. Put your back against the wall and try not to let nobody touch you, because those are very dangerous trains in New York.
Well, Crystal, please be safe, love. Yeah. Like, I don't know. We used to catch the bus and everything. I don't know if we can do any. I know New York is different because it's New York and there's a lot of traffic there, but um you have to be careful on public transportation and just out in public in general and in your home. So protect your babies. There are a lot of people online looking at people babies and they're not looking at them in a healthy way.
No.
And that is a scary, scary thought. And as we were talking, I've seen it, the aftermath of that when they come into the hospital. So,
Yeah.
live your life and love your life, but please understand that everybody isn't in the right mind. Everyone isn't healthy, and everyone doesn't mean you good. So you are welcome, Missy. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for everybody stopping by in the chat. I appreciate you, ladies. Miss Casey, it was nice meeting you. Hope to have you on one day as well. And I say thank you to everyone. And guys, as I always say, please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. I will have Mr. Lorenzo's contact information in the description box. And then we're going to have him back for the next Gentleman's Lounge because I don't want any problems. Okay.
That's nice. That's nice of you that you would do that for me.
Well, I appreciate you. All right, you guys have a happy Sunday. I'll see you soon. Mr. Lorenzo, can you stay on for me, please?
Alrighty.
All right. Bye, guys.